So let's take the first consumer use case. So the consumer has bought a new enterprise product called Uplift. So it's a CRM product. Earlier, they maintained their own legacy application to maintain all their customers, opportunities, etc. Now, that legacy application, the data is maintained in the Postgres. They need to migrate all the data, and most of the things are done. But there are few customers which are added of late. We need to add them back to Uplift. Good thing is all the enterprise customers these days, like Uplift, they expose an API to migrate the complete accounts from your legacy, right? So we are going to make use of that API and see how DataFinz will help in that particular case. Let me let's go through the JSON structure, the specification, what Uplift has created. So it has some account information. And for that account, we have the contact details. And underneath contact, then we have opportunities. Then we have codes, code details, orders. So it has a number of things bind together and sent in a denormalized format. So now let's take a look how we are going to make use of DataFinz for this. So this is a login page for DataFinz. Okay, so then we have a configuration page. Let's go to configuration. Okay, I have Uplift accounts. So this is the API exposed by Uplift to migrate the accounts. So I named it as Uplift accounts, and it is REST 2.0 JWT connector. So for that, I need a callback URL, which is going to create my bearer token. So this will automatically, during the access, it will automatically connect and generate the bearer. And it will add it in while sending the request to an API. And this is the host address. And the endpoint is bulk. And bearer token is access token here. And we have other options for variable file connections in case if I need to dynamically change the different parameters in the host, I can make use of that. So now once all this is done, I can test the connections and it's done. So the first connection is done. And the second one, I have to add it as a Postgres. So let me pick the Postgres connection here. So Postgres. This is a straightforward one, like any other JDBC connectors. So I picked the connection type as PostgreSQL, and I give the URI for the JDBC connector with the Postgres and database name, login, and password. And we have switch schema in case if I want to switch to a different schema, I can change it here and test it. So this is done. So the two connections are done. So the first part is over for me. Now let's move on to the second one, which is a model. For APIs, whenever deal with API-related pipelines, we suggested a new option to understand the structure of the APIs. So for that, we introduced the model. So the model is nothing but it will take your Swagger specification or any of your JSON or XML template, and it will generate, it will make the system to understand how the metadata is going to come for this, right? So that is the primary step of this model. Let me go on to API pipeline. And I have a model. So I created model Uplift accounts here. So I name the model name and name it as a post request, this one. I have three options to model it. I can give the JSON by uploading it, the file directly, or I can provide the model body. So I copied the entire JSON, which I showed you earlier. I copy and paste it here. Or other option is I can directly connect to that REST API and get that JSON or the Swagger spec directly from the API itself. So once this is provided, I hit the generate button, which will parse this entire structure and it will create the ERD diagram. So let me download and show how the structure is going to be. So it will create ERD diagram along with the SQL statements and the templates for the CSV files and templates in case if you want to make use of CSV part. Right. Now let's take a look of ERD diagram. So here it is structured in a normalized format. Like we have accounts at the top layer, and underneath accounts, I have several contacts. And from accounts, again, it is connecting to the opportunities, all the opportunities for the accounts. So this is one array, and this is another array. And then within the opportunities, I have another array, which talks about the codes. And within the codes, there are two different arrays. One is order, and another one is code details. And within order, I have order details. So if you see, it is a recursive array set defined in this particular API. Now I have to go through my legacy Postgres system, and I need to map how I can map all my accounts here and the related opportunities to this, and all the contacts related to accounts to here, the codes, orders, etc. So this will be very handy and helpful for application teams or data teams. Instead of fighting with the JSON or XML structure to understand the metadata, I can just go through this single page and understand the entire structure more quickly, right? And any of the other vendors, they are not giving anything related to this entity relationship diagrams for APIs or JSON or XML. So this is so unique, which is offered through the DataFinz. Now the first part of the second part is also done. I created the model. It's done. Now the third part is I had to create the pipeline linking my Postgres to this REST API. So for that, I had to go to integrate. Okay, so now I created a new pipeline called uplift migrate accounts. Okay, so before going here, let me quickly show the uplift application. So this is the uplift application where I show the list of customers here. So if you see the last customer added is Boeing, and we don't have any other customers. Now I'm going to add 5 more customers through this process. Okay, now I have integrate. I'm going to edit this one to see how the structures are going to be. Okay, so the first step is configuring my source and target, right? And I have to bind with what the model name is, especially for APIs. I have to tell what is the metadata structure going to be. So I'm going to use model name as uplift accounts, which we created now. The source connection is Postgres, target is uplift. Target is uplift accounts, which is the REST API. So if this is REST API, I don't need to give the target file name. But in case if I don't need to connect directly to the REST API, I'm going to put it in S3 or somewhere. Then I can generate the file name directly here. I can give the file name what it should be. And here, if you see target process split rows, I'm giving S1, so which means the system automatically, it sends the request with one object at a time, right? Because there are limitations how the provider has defined this particular API to be performed. If it's going to accept 100 different objects, then I can put it as 100. So the way DataFinz, it is intelligent enough to determine send the API request for every 100 objects. And if there are more than 100, it's going to send the subsequent request as a separate call instead of everything dumping together, right? So if I give 0, it's going to send everything together. But depending on the restrictions, I can make use of this split rows. Then next, I have the objects. Now, if you see all these default object names, it's going to come from that model what we generated. And we also structured this in an indented way to make sure this is a parent and this is the child belonging to it, so that it's kind of very informational so that we don't get confused. And now I'm mapping to my legacy application. So this is the legacy database. And we will give all the object names here directly based on the source connection. So since I use Postgres connection, I'm going to show all the tables available in Postgres. So it is easy for me to pick which table it belongs to. And I have an option if I need to filter anything, I can do that filter as well. So now I mapped everything here, equivalent objects. If I don't give object names, it will expect in Postgres the same table name there. And here, instead of table name, I can make use of views also. And this will be very helpful for post requests in case if the structure in legacy is not in line with the API, I can write a semantic view which can map to this particular structure. So that's the step 2. And step 3 is more at a field level. So whatever objects tables I picked, it's going to appear on the left. And now I can map how the target field names are going to be here, right? So if you see, everything is the same, except the key fields in the legacy, it is different. We are going to map it like that. And we have a masking option in case if we want to encrypt anything before sending to the APIs, I can do that. Or if I need to add any small transformations, I can do that too. And if there is any new fields which need to be dynamically added with a simple logic, I can do that too. So once that fields mapping is done, I can go to step 4. And here, one point, if I don't give any field names, it will automatically expect the same name. And this is again the optional part. So everywhere we have designed such that all these are dynamically going to be pulled. You can edit it in case if you need to overwrite anything. If it is going to be default the same, then you don't need to do anything. It's just do click, 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 and then, right? And the last part is ELT scripts. So this is far more for developers in case if I need to do any pre-processing options by running any scripts. I can make use of that. If I pick pre-processing and tell what is the database connection and what are the procedures I need to execute, script name, I can do that, pre or post. And it is more of an optional part. So here we don't need it. So once this is done, my integration part is completed. Now it is ready. I'm going to run this process. So I'm refreshing it. So this is the job history. It gives when each particular run happened. Okay, now this particular process is complete. We have 5 new different customers, and it is transformed into structures. Total size is 12 MB. Now let's take a look into Uplift. I'm going to refresh this page. If you see now, we got 5 new customers from Staples, Walmart, Best Buy, Office Max, Target, etc. So now I can go to any one of the customer, right? So I get all the information related to that Staples, then the contacts, and the opportunities, different one. And within the opportunity, I have quote details, right? And the existing functionality, I can generate PDF and XLS. These are product features. And this is only one quote available. Again, I'm moving back to companies, Staples. I can go to orders. So same order is going to give that information about what are the different things, delivery date, etc. Total related information. So if you see all these 5 customers, even though we are saying 5 customers, but it is completely migrating the package for that particular customer. Who are all the contacts? What are all the opportunities within that particular account? And all the orders related to it. So everything is mapped and sent in a single request, and it is this particular thing, DataFinz, it push the accounts one by one, and it completed for all the 5 accounts. So now we can see how easily I'm able to integrate to any enterprise products, even the same case with a Salesforce or Workday. They have that set of APIs, so we can directly integrate with my in-house system and handle it.